after a failed IVF cycle, many people leave the follow-up appointment, what is known as the WTF appointment, with the same explanation. It's just bad luck or it's egg quality. So in every other part of medicine, bad luck is not a diagnosis. It simply means something has not been identified yet. And so IVF is a technical process that happens in a lab, but embryos still develop inside a biological environment. So if the body is under strain, no protocol can override that. So today I want to show you how to start recognizing the biological patterns behind repeated IVF failures so you can stop guessing and start making smarter decisions. Let's go. In this episode, you'll learn why technically a perfect IVF cycle can still fail, the 3 biological patterns that I see often behind embryo arrest and failed transfers, and how to use your past cycles as meaningful data instead of writing them off as simply bad luck, and what to evaluate before spending more time, more money, emotional energy on another IVF cycles. Let's get into the patterns. 3 patterns that clinics commonly miss. First one is low energy production. So embryos require an enormous amount of energy to keep dividing and developing. And if you've got ongoing inflammation, I've talked a lot about this with the high sensitivity C-reactive protein. The clinic will say, hey, everything's fine. If it's at a 3, we like it under a 1. Thyroid. I've done multiple podcast episodes about this. This is a huge pattern that we see. It is not about you taking thyroid medication and then thinking you've checked that box. We need to see why the thyroid is off. It is the canary in the coal mine, and that is one of the big patterns we see. Nutrient depletion. If your nutrients are all low, that could be why the embryo is not making it. And blood sugar stability. If your blood sugar is on a roller coaster, that could be why the embryo is not making it. And so when energy production is compromised, embryos may slow or they may arrest. And then pattern number 2 is looking at your partner. So it's not just about you thinking it's egg quality and he's getting a high five that his semen is amazing, the count is perfect, great, let's go again. And no one's looking at the DNA fragmentation. So we like the DNA frag typically below 10%. Your clinic's going to say, hey, it's fine at about 25 to 30%. So if this is high, this could be why the embryo is arresting. This could be why it's not implanting. This could be why you're having pregnancy loss, and even if fertilization still happens. And so it's really important to be able to look at his health. And I'll just take you through the 5 patterns for DNA fragmentation, what we see there, the reasons why. So pattern number 1, there's oxidative stress overload. You've got DNA damage, oxidative stress, and that can be due to inflammation, poor sleep, alcohol exposure, metabolic strain, environmental toxins. We do not nag or nudge or coach our partner. We need to be able to look at the patterns, look at blood work, look at data, and make informed decisions, not say, here's your supplements. And if you find yourself doing that and you're frustrated that maybe he is drinking, he'll have his own goals to be able to work on it and to look at his health. So oxidative stress overload, is that what's been missed? Low mitochondrial, so the mitochondria are the energies of the cells. So the sperm require strong energy output to maintain the DNA integrity. If that energy is underpowered, that could be why the fragmentation has increased. Hormone signaling imbalance. So number 3, disrupted testosterone, thyroid for men too, insulin. So you got metabolic issues going on. Proper sperm maturation and DNA integrity, that can impact the semen numbers. That can impact the DNA integrity even when the semen numbers are normal. Chronic inflammation or immune activation, so ongoing stress from gut imbalance. And we see couples passing infections back and forth. Autoimmune patterns. That's going to increase oxidative damage and interfere with healthy sperm development. Number 5 pattern, environmental, lifestyle, and toxins. A lot of us, I think, know this piece, but the air quality, the radiation from devices, do not put your phone in your pocket or on your body anywhere. We work with a lot of pilots that they're being radiated when they're in the airplane, and that's impacting their sperm quality. We've done testing working with farmers before. Their tests were off the chart for all the pesticides they're exposed to. I had one guy who told me he was an exterminator because he said, oh, my sperm quality is off here. I'm like, what do you do for a living? I'm an exterminator. Yeah, he's killing all the bugs. And yes, he's wearing his hazmat suit and a big respirator, but something is still getting in there and impacting his sperm quality. So those are some kind of extreme examples. We're in a toxic soup right now. We need to be able to minimize our exposure as much as possible. The good news takes 70 to 80 days for the life cycle of sperm. So there's things we can do. So those are the 5 patterns if you've got DNA fragmentation issues, and really being able to develop an action plan looking at his health and your health. And then pattern number 3, where we see if IVF has failed, the WTF appointment, there's nothing you can do. Pattern number 3 is immune or stress signaling. So a body that is under stress wants to survive, not procreate. I say it over and over again. The body wants to procreate. So if it's not working, what are the different stressors that are causing that and the different systems in the body? So looking from a high level, if you find yourself, I'm going to go down into the weeds on that. It must be my thyroid. It's probably the low vitamin D. It could be the iron. Yeah, it could be all of that. But what's the system that's out of balance? And then we can actually optimize this. So the next cycle, so the 20K that you're spending, you can actually optimize this to make it work. Or if you're trying naturally, you're going to improve the chances of a successful implantation. If you've got gut imbalances and food sensitivities and unresolved inflammation, that could make the environment not hospitable to implantation and early development harder than it should be for the embryo. Looking upstream, what are the patterns that I see? Being able to think about this logically, right? Because this is a very emotional roller coaster. I speak to thousands of couples on this, and really, even in people's friend groups now, it's getting more common. Oh, wait, so-and-so here is dealing with infertility. Oh, my friend over here is dealing with infertility. So that is the canary in the coal mine with the human race, right? That we're under siege from all these toxins. So what can we do? What are the systems that we can look at to then be able to make an informed decision of how to improve our health? And it's not just you taking a boatload of supplements and crossing your fingers each cycle and hoping this is going to work. And so looking at a functional fertility second opinion, it's patterns and systems in the body and what has been missed, and then if we decide to deploy IVF and deploy it when we're ready. Stop accepting this unexplained, I don't know why it didn't work. It's just bad luck. Let's just tweak the protocol, give more medication, a lower stimulation, less drugs, whatever it is, and go again. That is not a clear solution. We need to look at the environment where the egg and the sperm is developing, and then if we do deploy IVF, we can have a better outcome. I've got a new checklist here for you, the Embryo Audit Checklist. There's a link in the show notes, and then you can also go to hello@fabfertile.ca, subject line checklist, and I will send that to you so you can look at this, do a deep dive. I just encourage you, if you are like a researcher, deep dive kind of person as it is, like to be careful not to get stuck in the weeds. We want to go high level on this and be able to see what are the systems that's been missed. And if you start to pick apart each thing, that doesn't always give you the results you're looking for. But this embryo audit checklist can really help you see what has been missed, and then we can develop a plan. If you're ready for a deeper interpretation, you can apply for a functional fertility second opinion with your partner. You can send in your lab work and testing, and then we can look at the systems in the body, see what's being missed, and develop an action plan so the next IVF, we can improve the chances of this actually working. So you can apply, the link is in the show notes, or send me again a message at hello@fabfertile.ca, subject line fertile. Tell me a little bit about where you are in the journey, and then we will hop on a call with you and your partner, and we will talk about some options. Take care.